demonic. Listen to any leader, any educationist, any CEO, anybody concerned with the growth of the country and the progress of the country, any religious leader, and you would find that each one of them goes gaga on the need of the children, care. They all say that the children are the hope of the future. Tomorrow's CEOs, political leaders, scientists, artists, heroes, military strategists are all going to be the children of today. And if we do not take care of them, then the future of the country, the future of the community, and the future of the world is at stake. That being so, do we take care of them? Let's see the latest report of OECD. According to OECD, in the top countries, about an average family across OECD spends 15% of its net income on the child care. That's a joint total family income. 15% is spent on the child care. In Canada, it's 22.2% of the net income. Would you believe this is higher than all but 5 countries of the that OECD monitors? Imagine the highest. It's shocking. Why? And can you believe that if it's not 2 men earning, 2 persons earning, it's only a single parent, then he or she spends 2/3 of the income on the child care. Is it possible to do so? If 1/3 of the child income goes on the child care, and the balance 2/3 you have got to pay the mortgages, you have to look after the health, you have to look after day-to-day needs, and also you have got to save for the future. Looking at the other side, if I look, the child care in the real good countries, say in Korea, is just 5% of the parents' income. In Austria, it is only 10%. If that is so, why is it that we have to pay more for the child care? Canadian parents pay highest to take care of the child. Is it because of the government policies, or is it because of some other factor? As a matter of fact, would you believe that the breakup of the families is one major cause of the increasing child care? We see a larger number of parents separating, resulting in single parent families, and a 33% income goes. If they are together, they save even on this, as well as they'll save on the other things. So it's a social paradigm that is affecting the economic paradigm. You see, there's a new term has been coined, NEET, N-E-E-T. It's a term for the people who are not in education, not in employment, not in training. So they are not engaged in any useful work. It's a demographic group, and that group is in danger of being permanently unemployed as they go through their life. And then they pass on this need to their children. What happens is that the people marry at a comparatively young age. They are earning as a waiter or as a mechanic or as a labor, Tim Horton, whatever. getting minimum wage, and they fall in love and they marry. They think that with their combined incomes they can carry on. And then what happens? They want to go to the college. So they leave the job and go to the college. Want to increase their economic status. So education is a must. And then, they cannot look after the children and they are placed at the custody. Now, the children are deprived of the parental attention. Parents have an added headache of looking after the children. And then, the only thing is to scrooge others. The children basically of the parents who are in need category are the worst affected. They are not in education, they are not in employment, they are not in training. And it's these children then become the part of that demographic group called NEET, which has a low educational attainment because the parents are not highly educated and parents are out of work. Now imagine what do the other countries do. In Denmark, is the municipal committees which are obliged to offer all children more than 6 months a place where a publicly subsidized child care. So it is a responsibility of the municipality to ensure that child care centers are everywhere, highly subsidized. Parents have to spend maybe 0.5%. That's it. And the municipalities bear all the burden. And the child's health, education and everything is taken care of. And parents are free either to get education or to get an employment. That being so, the child is taken care of in a very responsible manner, in a very correct manner. In Sweden, municipalities must provide 15 hours of child care per week to the children over one. 15 hours means at least, and the working hours are 5 hours. So for 3 days of the work, the municipalities are responsible. Now, basically that means that the parents can attend to their job, to their education, and if they juggle their schedule, the husband and the wife, then the child is continuously looked after. At one time the husband is working and the wife is getting the education. At the other time the wife is working and the husband is getting the education. And one time would be when both are either working and getting the education. And that time, the 15 hours, the municipality is taking care of the child. So the three partners in the child development are there. In Iceland, there are special subsidy programs for single parents who need child care space. Why is it that in Canada, where we talk, the children are our hope, we are so careless? Is it the responsibility of the federal government, or is it the responsibility of the provincial government, or is the responsibility of the municipalities? The municipalities are likely to say, well, they don't have revenues. Their only source of revenue is property tax, education tax, health tax. So why should we spend money? Now, of course, they have the toll taxes as well, and they've got share from the gas taxes as well. They also get a share from the GST. So there are other revenues, but the mayors normally refuse to talk of the other avenues of income. And the plea is that we don't have money. The provinces say we are doing our level best, but we have to take care of our falling infrastructure, health costs, seniors, education, blah, 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 blah. Federal government says we are giving funding to the NGOs and others. You see, as a matter of fact, the biggest problem in Canada is that there is no coherent national policy for child care. Each province has its own policy. And when each province has its own policy, the result is no policy. You see, you need a national policy for your citizens of tomorrow. You're not creating or building up citizens of Manitoba or Ontario, or British Columbia or Quebec. You are building citizens of Canada. So there has to be a pan-Canadian strategy to look after the children. And we have no reason to forget that children are an asset which, if ignored today, would have an escalating effect on the country's capabilities. If one generation becomes uncared for, that generation shall give birth to a second generation, to the third, and that to the third. And the values and the standards will keep on falling. It's very easy going downhill. It's difficult going uphill. And once a child grows up and is castigated as neat, then you can be sure the progeny of that child in 9 out of 10 cases would belong to the same category. And once the process starts, it's keep on going on. There is geometric progression in the growth of poverty, in the growth of bad health, in the growth of law and order situation, because when you are not employed, when you don't have the money, you will only turn to those things which get you sustenance. And that is gangs, that is crime, that is violence. Secondly, psychologically they become not only parasites, but also a burden on the society. They are the suckers of society. There's a need to make them useful, effective citizens. The longer the category of need continues, it will keep on growing. As a matter of fact, the federal government should come up with a scheme that the children, the low income and middle income group, and even of the large income group, are looked after in a comprehensive manner. The working parents are ensured that the child care would be provided when they are away at work or getting higher education. And that should be the responsibility of all the 3 levels of administration, whether it's municipality, whether it's provincial, or whether it's federal. As a matter of fact, federal government should take a lead in calling upon a consultative process whereby the needs of the community can be identified, and that identification need can be left to the municipality, because each demographic group would have different needs. Then the funding should be a joint effort of all the 3, federal, provincial, as well as the municipality. I'm not in favor of welfare, but I'm definitely in favor of child care, because children, as I said today, children of today are the Canadians of tomorrow. And if you want to build a Canada which is the storehouse of knowledge and capability, which is the leader of the nation, then it's incumbent on you to ensure that your children are brought up in that manner, cared for that manner, as precious assets on which there can be no compromise. Unfortunately, we are way down as far as the care of the children is concerned. OECD report is a very clear document, and in fact, it's an indictment of the government at all levels. We are more concerned with economic growth, but we have forgotten that adage, ill fares the land to hastening ills a prey, where wealth accumulates and men decay. And if the children of today decay, the men and the women would decay forever. The country would become a third world country and maybe a fourth rate country. It is incumbent to take a decisive action, a concerted action to protect the children, save the children, promote the children, their development so that the country does not suffer, the community does not suffer.